the job market is getting more and more competitive by the day. So if you want to get a job in 2025, you have to think differently. You have to use AI in your job hunting process. And so in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build an automated job hunter system. What this system does is it basically scrapes all of the most recent jobs on a daily basis from Indeed, from LinkedIn jobs, from wherever really, and then it goes over every single job, checks if you've already reached out to them. If you haven't already reached out to them, then it goes and it finds the email of the decision maker at that company, and then it verifies that email and it adds it to a campaign. And so you can have multiple different campaigns running for different role types. And so we basically have these campaigns running, and it's just adding hundreds. I'm just reaching out to hundreds of hiring managers, CEOs, CTOs per day on complete autopilot, based on companies that are hiring. And so rather than just doing cold outreach and just targeting companies, whether whether they're looking for something or not, you have an in because you say, hey, I saw your job on Indeed and I saw that you were hiring. And then rattle off your pitch, right? And so this is what we're going to be building out today. I'll show you exactly how we build it out. I'm running this on a cloud-hosted instance of N8N. You're going to want to set this up on cloud-hosted on Railway. That way you can have all of your different workflows running at the same time, because on their $30 a month plan, I think you can only have 5 workflows running, and we're going to have a workflow to start the instance on a daily basis. So if you want to target multiple jobs, you're going to need more than 5 workflows. So let's dive right into this. So we're going to start out by building this out. And so I'm going to show you a little bit of what this is going to look like. So we're going to start with Appify here. And so the essence of this system is that we're running Appify scrapers on jobs. And we're getting those jobs, filtering by them, and running them. And so, for example, I have this Indeed job scraper right here. And then let's actually look at the LinkedIn one. So this one, LinkedIn job scraper. I think this actually gives us more information, so it's going to be easier to build out for our first time. But you'll just get the keyword of the job you're searching for. So you'll literally just go over here to LinkedIn jobs. And then let me just sign in here. So you'll go to LinkedIn jobs and you'll type in the title of the title of the role you're searching for. So I'm gonna type in CAO. There's this new role called Chief AI Officer, and so it should be. Let's make sure that we're getting the right role here. CEO, Deputy CFO. All right, so let's make this more clear. CAIO. Let's see if that Chief AI Officer. It looks like we only got 2. So let's look at AI automation. Let's say we're going after clients where we're actually going to be building AI automation director, senior AI automation manager, AI automation specialist, automations and AI specialist. So you can start seeing here we're getting all of these roles here that are going to be artificial intelligence specialists. So if you're going for, all right, so experience level, United States, all right, remote is remote. All right, so there's only, let's say we just search AI. Oops. All right, so you have prompt engineer, AI designer, prompt consultant. So let's say we're just reaching out to these. Let's see how many show results. 62,000. All right, so this is actually perfect. So I'm going to copy this link here. I'm going to add it into this search feature. And then let's say let's just pull 100, or let's just pull 10 jobs for now, just so you can see it running and completing faster. So I'm going to click save and start. And you're going to see it's going to start going in here and actually just scraping a bunch of jobs, right? I'll show you what, I've run this 22 times. I'll show you what a different data set looks like. So it runs, and then the output should be just a bunch of jobs here. And so this is the data that goes into our N8N instance. And so essentially what we're going to do is we're going to click this integrations button up here, and we're going to connect this with our scenario. So we're going to go back to N8N, our N8N cloud instance, and we're going to, I'm actually just going to duplicate this. I'm going to create two different tabs here so we can kind of like walk through on one new workflow. All right, so we're going to start with a webhook trigger. I'm going to start with the webhook trigger. We're just going to use the test URL right now just to see if it works. And we're going to go back to this scraper. We're going to add integration, HTTP webhook when run is succeeded. We're going to test this, and we're going to save and test it here. We should, if we're listening for an event, we should get a response here. Actually, no, change this to post request, because I believe it's actually going to send a post request. Copy this, make sure this is the same. All right, we're good. Test it. All right, so boom, it sent a post request, and then that means that it's working. So the next thing we're going to do here is, yeah, I guess we'll change the webhook URL when we finish this, but we're just going to use this for now while we're testing. So actor succeeded, we got one job. That's not right, but let's do another 20, save and start. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to be getting these jobs from our scraper. So we're going to go here, we're going to create an HTTP node, HTTP request, and we're essentially going to get results from our, Appify scraper. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to this scraper integrations, add integration, use API, not API client, use API endpoints, and we're going to get the last run dataset items. So if we go in here, we're going to add that in. We're going to get last run dataset items. Just call this like get dataset items, rename. And so ideally this only runs when it's finished, and then it will run and it will get our dataset items. So this one says you can't use it for scraping less than 100. Okay, let's run this again and scrape 150. All right, make sure this scrape company details and all is on. And so what we're actually going to do here is we're going to make sure that this is running correctly. We're going to wait for this run to finish. And so it'll basically call this webhook as soon as it finishes, and then we'll get the dataset items. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to test and see. We're going to loop over the items. We're going to test and see if they're in a Google Sheet. So we're going to go loop over items. We're going to make this a batch size of 1. And for each of the loops, this says replace me, we're going to add in, what did we add in here? I just made it wait 5 seconds because otherwise sometimes it hits the rate limits. So now we're going to go into Google Sheets, and we're going to check our spreadsheet. So I believe what we did here is LinkedIn Jobs Archive, get rows. Yeah. So basically you'll want to LinkedIn Jobs spreadsheet archive. So basically what I did is I created this job title, posted time, job URL, company name, company website. And basically what I'm doing here is I'm just checking, does the company name exist? Because if it does, I don't want to reach out to them again. So these are the jobs that I've reached out to already. And so we'll add in a new one in another module. But I'm basically just getting all of them, and I believe what I was doing was we're going over here. So we need to wait for this to run successfully. But basically what we'll be doing is we're going to find the company name, change this to expression, find company name, and if the company name exists, then it continues. If it doesn't exist, then it goes down a different route. So what we basically say, we're going to create an if statement. If the company name exists, it goes down one route. If it doesn't, we go down another route. So we're going to create an if statement. If the company name string exists, if the company name exists, is true, that means that we've already reached out to them, so then we want to loop over items. If it's false, then we want to add a row to our sheet. So we want to find this. If you want to understand how to log into Google Sheets, I have another video called Google OAuth. All right, so now you can see we'll wait for this to finish, but this is going to be add row in sheet, and we're going to map all of these rows in a second. And then we're going to find the email. So let's see if this Appify run is finished. All right, so it looks like it's finished. Test workflow. There we go. We got 150 items now. You can see it's going to check. Why is this cannot read property of undefined toString? Okay, so we're going to say company. That's the wait. We want to make sure we get the loop over items. We get the company name. And that we just want to make sure this JSON variable is correct. So go to loop over items, find the company name. We're going to do the same thing here. Loop over items, company name. Boom. So now we're going to test this one more time. So it was true. I feel like that's not right. Why did it only do 2 times? Job title. I see. So we're basically going to say, rather than in the loop over items, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that if the company name exists in the spreadsheet data. So let's run this one more time. It's probably going to error out. Okay. So now we should have data in here. We want to use the Google Sheets. Basically, if there is a company name in the Google Sheet data, that means that there was a row that was found. So we're saying if, we're going to filter by company name, so we're only returning rows with that company name. So ideally, we should return 0 rows, and therefore there should not be anything for this field. So let's run this one more time. All right, so I'm unsure why, if we have 150 items, it stopped at item number 3. All right, let's check. Three items, 2 items. So that means it stopped here. So it found the company name. Okay. So for this one, um, we can see it found the company name for each of these and it didn't find it for the third one. We have to actually go here and say always output data, um, to ensure that if it doesn't find it, it um, continues to run the workflow. So here we go. 1, 2. We should see the third one now go to the false parameter. Boom. All right, so now we're adding a row and sheet. Now we have all of the data, so we can change all of these to expression, and then we can pull in the data in here. So we can pull in loop over items. We can pull in job title, posted time, posted at, the job URL. I think it's just link. Yeah, I think it's just the link here. Company name, company website, or company LinkedIn URL. Company website, that's exactly what we want. Boom. So now we're pulling in all of this information. Now if we run this, we should see that it will be successful on the fourth item. So the idea here is anything that AI can do, you should not do. So if you're adding your resume to jobs one at a time manually, that's just a very poor strategy. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, let's check the scenario that I built here. We're going to find the email using any email finder if it's found. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to use something called any email finder. So we're basically going to take the company information, and we're going to go here and I'll rotate this after I'm done. But we're going to, an email finder is a tool that basically you can search decision makers. You can figure out, why are these all 2 credits? Oh, that's weird. Anyway, you can basically put in a company URL and you can say find me the decision maker for that company URL. And so that's exactly what we're going to do here. So we're going to say HTTP request, and then this is going to be find decision maker email. And now what we're going to do, we're going to go to the API documentation, and we're going to find emails at a company, find a decision maker's email. Potentially we could even do LinkedIn URL as well. All right, so let's say decision maker's email. We'll just take this curl code right here, and we'll import the curl code, and then we'll take our API key. So import. Why is it not letting me import? I think because I already made. Let's try this one more time. So we're going to import curl. I'm going to copy, paste. Usually when you do this, it will just populate. It's weird that it's not working. Anyway, I'm just going to pull it in from here. I'm just going to duplicate this node. I'm going to go in here. I'll basically walk you through the entirety of this node here. Alright, so we're going to find email. We're going to use an email finder. search for decision maker. So that's this URL right here. So we're pulling this URL in. The headers, we're adding in our API key in here. So if I go to API key, we're adding our API key here. We're searching for the company name and the decision maker and their email. Now, if it's a success, that's when we're going to go down the success route versus the error route. So if it's error, it means it did not find it. And we're going to loop over the items again and go to the next item. If it did find it, sometimes it will give you a successful response even if it didn't find it. And so what we're going to do in here is basically figure out if it existed or not. So we're going to add in a switch feature. We're basically going to say, let's execute previous nodes. That way we can see some results and responses here. So the idea is that we'll have two different routes. If the email is found, we'll continue. If it's not found, we'll loop back over the items again. Should work here. Okay, boom, it did go to the switch module. So we can see email verified is true. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a routing rule, change this to expression. If email verified, no, actually, if email exists versus, this is going to be more reliable than just verified. Yeah. And then if email does not exist, we're basically going to rename these routes. So this is going to be email found, email not found. And so now you can see we have these two routes here. If the email is not found, I'm going to loop back over items. If the email is found, we're going to go on to the next step. And the next step is we're going to actually verify this email. So I've found that even though it says the email is verified, you kind of need to double verify it. So I've been using this tool called NeverBounce. I also use ListKit. If I sign in here, I believe I have a sign in. So I only have 2 credits. I must have signed in with a different account. Let me sign in with a proper account. There we go, 988. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the API here, settings, where's the API, integrate, create a new app. We're going to create a custom integration, test, create app. Now that will give us an API key. Once we have the API key, we're going to actually go to their API documentation, NeverBounce API documentation. And then we're going to verify an email. We're going to add this curl in. This doesn't work. I'm very unsure why this is. Okay, I'm unsure why this is going to work. Anyway, this is the URL. It's a post request. This is the URL. We have to add in the API key in here. We have to add in the email. So we're going to execute previous nodes, add in the API key, and then the email is going to be a JSON variable from the response of the previous node. So we're going to let this run. This is going to be NeverBounce verify. So here we go. We're verifying through never bounce. Just wait for this to finalize. And we'll basically be able to pull in the JSON variable from this find email. I'm gonna pause the video real quick. So now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna pull in this email. So in the never bounce verify, we're gonna pull in these email results, and it should only exist because we put it through the switch node, so you won't have to worry about it like not existing. And then once it's verified, I believe the next thing we will do, yes, run. Let's just run this. All right, so we're gonna put it through another switch node, and we're gonna let this run. And basically, this switch node is gonna be email verified, verified, not verified. And we're going to change this to expression, and we're basically going to take the results of this never bounce verify module, and if it's verified, we're going to add it to our campaign and instantly. And if it's not verified, we're not going to. So now while this runs, let's go over here to instantly. And this is where we'll actually be sending out the emails. I have other videos where I help you set up instantly. It's pretty simple with their done for you service. I highly recommend just using their done for you service. So let's set this up. All right. So what we want to be doing here is we'll just basically set up a campaign like this. And what we'll do is we will basically just get our instantly API, and through this is how we'll find the names of our campaigns, and we'll set up all these other aspects of this. So the next thing we're gonna do, all right, boom. All right, so now let's go back here and let's say if the email is valid, if result is equal to valid, if the result is not equal to valid. So this is if it's validated or if it's not validated. So the next thing is we're going to actually create some APIs calls for instantly. Let's go to HTTP request. So the first thing we need to do is actually get our campaign ID. So let's actually just go down here and let's just get a campaign ID. So we want campaigns. We want to get a list of campaigns. So we're going to use that. All right, so we're going to use this URL. Boom. Looks like we can actually search. Let's search for, what was the name of our campaign again? March. Search for March, limits 10. Let's test this step. I think we need to actually set up our authorization, bearer, and then we need to put our API key in here. So let's go and grab our API key. Integrations, API keys, create a new API key, test, delete. I'm gonna give it all read yeah, we don't want to let it, I guess, yeah, we'll just give it all. So boom. Now let's test this step and see if it works. Couldn't process request. Internal server error. Maybe if we don't do starting after. There we go. Okay, so we got our results for March. So we got March LinkedIn BDR scraper. So I'm just gonna pull this campaign ID, and we're gonna need this. So let me just pull this campaign ID into a note. Alright, so boom. We want to pull this. Alright, that's our campaign ID. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over here and we're going to add a lead to a campaign. So we're going to go boom. We're going to create a post request. We're going to find our lead. We're going to go over here to lead. We're going to click create lead. And we're going to use this. Create a post request, lead, send headers, authorization, bearer, pulling that API key again. And then content type, application JSON, and then we'll have it add in the campaign ID. So let's just go over to Claude. Let's go over to Claude here and let's ask it to write me JSON for the following variables. Let's just have it write to JSON. Now I'm going to make sure that it has the right campaign ID. Then we'll say this is the campaign ID. Remove the personalization, website, last name, company name, and phone number. Alright, so boom. We're gonna just drop this in here into this request. So we're gonna say send body JSON. I guess we can, no, we don't need to map the fields automatically. All right, so the email. So now we're gonna execute previous nodes. What? There we go. We're gonna execute previous nodes. And the idea is we're gonna get the email. We're going to get the first name. So I think we have the email as a variable in the last one. So I guess we could just pull that. Expression, there we go. But then we need to find the full name as well. I guess we could probably find it. So once this node runs successfully, we're basically going to do something like this. JSON.result.name dot split why is it not letting me do this? We're basically going to split the name just to get the first name. So let's wait for this run to finish. All right, so we're gonna go into the loop over items. We're gonna grab the first name of the, actually no, we're gonna go into find email. We're gonna grab the full name because that's all that an email finder gives us. And then we're gonna say dot. We're gonna split with a space character. Then we're gonna say dot first. So you can see that gives us just the first name. We split and then we get dot first. The email, why is the email undefined? Should be right here, right? Find email. Oh, it's because we renamed it. All right. So this add to campaign, and then that should be good. And then once it finishes adding to the campaign, we loop over items again. So I'm gonna test this, and we should see now that as it's going through, it's checking if we've reached out to them. It's adding a row in the sheet. If we haven't, it's finding the email. It's switching and checking if the email's found. If the email's found, that it's verifying it. If the email's verified, it adds it to the campaign, and then it starts over. And you can do this with however many items you want. So right now we just did 150. You could do this with, it depends on like what job you're going after, right? Like for some jobs, you're only gonna get 100 new jobs per day on LinkedIn or something like that. But if you're using something like, like a sales rep, there might be 1,000 a day, and then you could run this on 1,000 a day. You could reach out to 500 people per day, and if you get 1% of those people to respond to you and want to interview you, you have 5 interviews per day. Like, holy shit. I'm never searching for a job the old-fashioned way again. All right, so the old-fashioned way, fucking crazy. All right, so YouTube job hunter demo. All right, so we'll just let this run. We can see that it's, I guess what I could do is I could just like update this spreadsheet, and that way it wouldn't have to go through 20 every single time. So this is, yeah, senior data analyst, AI. There we go. There we go. Okay, so boom. And then why did it not add to the campaign? Check your credentials. Okay, so there's a chance that the API key didn't work, but you know what we can do actually? We can just copy and paste this. And we can just test this on its own with specific data. So let's just say the email is billybobjoe@gmail.com and the first name is Billy. All right, so this should be an expression. All right, so if we test it, we should get the same thing. Check your credentials, forbidden. Let's ask Claude if this is probably an API key thing. Why did I get this error? By the way, I started trying ChatGPT again, and it's like, nah, Claude is the way to go. I use only Claude. authorization issue. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's ask Claude. Actually, let's give it all of this. Here's my authorization. What is wrong with this? All right, so let's go back instantly. Let's create a new API key. Just give it all scopes test. And then let's give it this. And let's make sure there's no extra characters. No extra characters. You can also try expression. I'm not sure if that will change anything. All right, let's try to run it without a campaign ID. See if that works. All right, so that worked. So it looks like the problem is a campaign ID, which I've run into before actually. So let's run this and make sure we get the right campaign ID. So we get the subject, emails, campaign ID. Let's try a different campaign. Because I don't see where else the campaign ID. Something else that we could test is by turning on the campaign. It might be because the campaign is off. So let's turn all of these campaigns on. Active. Oh wait, that doesn't work. By the way, voice agents for local businesses does not work well. Would not recommend it. That's why I'm switching to specifically lead gen and AI roles in particular. Okay, so let's just go resume campaign. Yeah, let's just try that. Let's just resume campaign and test this. All right, so let's go back here. It says something is wrong with the campaign ID. Why would that be? Here is the instant lead documentation. Oh, it's an outdated endpoint. Campaign ID format. All right, well, is it the right API version? I believe we have the right API version. Wonder if I can pull in the actual documentation of our run here. Here's the error details. So if you're building scenarios like this, you have to just get used to debugging. This is just a part and parcel of the process. Lead limit reached, remaining uploads 0. The error message clearly states lead limit reached. So it's just my plan. All right, so that means that works. All right, so just make sure that your instantly plan has enough. You can add more leads to it. And so yeah, that's the essence of the system. I tested this out before and it worked, so it looks like I just have to update my instantly plan to get more leads. I thought I was already on this plan, but that's weird. Okay, anyway, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video where we built out the system to make it easier to apply for jobs, and to, work smarter, not harder. And so, yeah, I hope you found this valuable. And yeah, I guess I'll give a short plug if you want to. We do a couple calls per week in the community. We just did a prompt engineering workshop with this guy, Brian. Absolutely insane. And you'll get to hang out with me on a call once a week, twice a week actually. And you get all of the system templates. I'll drop this system template into the AI agent templates here. And you can learn how to build agents, marketing, sales systems, in-depth prompt engineering guides. So would love to have you in here. It's there's a lot of cool stuff going on.